Howdy folks, Darren DeGraff here. In this recording, we'll cover ethics and professionalism. Now, if we could boil this down into one word, what would that be, folks? It would be trust, which we'll find out in just a moment. Now, there are different ways that we could describe or define ethics. The way that we do it with the Institute is we think of it as a set of ethical or moral principles. And these will actually guide us when we're dealing with clients on a day-to-day basis. And that includes some of the attributes that you see here: honesty, right? Transparency, fairness, justice, diligence. And another thing not on the list is simply the respect for the rights of others. And this is shared, of course, by the community. And this can evolve and, of course, change over time. And remember, folks, there's no I in team, meaning that our own beliefs may not necessarily be relevant. Now, in the investment management profession, we have a duty. Some people call it a fiduciary duty, which essentially means that we should treat our clients' assets as if they were our own, our retirement portfolio, our child's education plan, whatever. And we're not alone in this. There are other industries. For example, in accounting, there's that dreaded stewardship function, right? Where the accountants have to make sure that they show to the shareholders that the managers are using their assets wisely. You also have it in law. There's a duty of, for example, confidentiality, where if a client is seeking some advice. And also in the physicians, you have a lot of duties. The main one is the duty of care, in that you have the duty to assess, to diagnose. You also need to communicate with your client. And finally, there's a duty to refer when necessary, maybe to a specialist. And investment management itself is actually a relatively young industry. So the challenge is that regulators and employers may not be that familiar. And of course, what that does then is that creates other challenges, is that not everyone in our industry is a quote unquote professional. So I don't know, like maybe someone hasn't even taken a securities course, maybe a financial modeling course in Excel, or maybe even something more advanced like in Python. So there's a lot of discrepancy between folks out there. And the other one is that not everybody has joined a professional body like we have as a candidate or charter holder. So again, that does create some challenges in helping, again, establish that word trust with our clients, because we've got all different types out there with varying levels of ethical or moral compass. So there you have it. So varying levels of ethical standard, even with our industry as well. Now, you'll notice here that the first bullet we've already covered. Now, concerning the second one, what we can do as investment managers is if we bring in more trust, that's going to help deliver more value. That's going to result in things like better capital allocation decisions. And what that leads to is lower transaction costs and otherwise better outcomes for your client. And adding to that, if we have ethical corporate governance, we can actually start to attract even more capital into our markets. Okay, folks, so that's a wrap. You're up to date in the world of ethics and professionalism. Remember, take your protein, okay? Meaning work those practice questions. You'll be glad you did.